Hi folks, welcome to the 8 Regions tournament. So, what do we have today? So we have Baratheon against Targaryen, game 3. As you can see, it's 1-1 at the moment, and we have Marek playing against Alex, and the game has just started. So we'll be watching this one. And let's see what the players have for us. So we have Marek playing White Book, and we have Alex playing Alliance. Shall we try to guess? Something like free companies and a banner maybe? Or would it be Kohor? Let's see. Okay, free companies and banner lions, so that's going to be some bestow stuff. Probably using the Targaryen Tyrion here for the mercenaries. "75 cards in the deck. Doesn't seem like there is any one card that really needs to be drawn if you play the Lannister version of this deck. I think Casterly Rocky is the big one, but Targaryen, besides Tyrion maybe, not sure what could be the most important card. And doesn't matter, so drew Tyrion in the setup hand along with Septon Ut. So that's potential to have some good insight here available. And we have Marek starting with only one single character. That could be dangerous because Marched could be in the deck. Of course, Tyrion likes to take stuff from the discard pile, so March doesn't hurt that much. And we have White Sword Tower, which against many Targaryen decks actually sounds pretty good. But we'll see if this plays a lot of events. And as you can see, Knight of the Bastard of Nightsong survives the first blood phase with Summer Harvest, taking some good gold against the Maiden. And Alex goes first. Okay, Iron Bank, Swords of Economy, forever. Yeah, seems like a pretty good start here for Alex, drawing some of his key cards. Okay, and the cancel. He can be, of course, refilled with the agenda and some other ways. Card in shadows with 3 gold left. Smells like Aegon to me. And now important that Marek also gets a decent board here. Otherwise he is under pressure. Lots of economy. Okay, and just using the free competency in marshalling to give Tyrion gold. Slightly unusual timing. Stannis. And now maybe something slightly smaller would be nice. So Stannis works nicely with the agenda. He is a king, which means you can stand your king's guards when attacking as well. And we have Antler Man. nice chud that can potentially serve as economy as well. And privileged position cancelling our word is good as gold. Now White Sword Tower says you can play one event unless you have a Kingsguard, and neither player has a Kingsguard here, so that's it as far as events are concerned, and no gold now for Aegon from Shadows. Could of course also just be old Bilbon, who is also a mercenary. And Alex going for the one challenge, of course, where he is strong. Probably no way to stop this. And discarding Rose Road. Could have been useful, just a great hole in play, but usually not the best hit. And unless we get a military icon, I don't see anything else that can be done here. Just giving chance, of course, to Bust of Night Song to get the power back. And I think now Marek can do all three challenges. Intrigue can be blocked. Of course, if he does Intrigue first and something enters the discard pile, Tyrion can potentially put it in. Although it's not that efficient to put it in just to defend. And Septonut is gone. He could have been a good source of card draw. Of course, the agenda, free companies, doesn't allow you to place gold on cards that already have gold, unless they are mercenaries. So it's a bit more difficult, especially if you just want to use it on the Iron Bank and Bagging Brother and stuff like that. Even Tyrion might need it. And this might now be unopposed. Question is, does he save the Bagging Brother trigger for rainy days, or just cancel Stannis and then put gold back on the following round? Okay, cancel Stannis, and this one I think defended, which allows Marek to then tie dominance. Decent start for both. Although Marek slightly exposed, I guess, to the Harris here. With the two big bodies as opposed to these two that can survive quite easily at the moment. Okay, the father. That's a good plot. Can return unique characters back to hand. And we have Sporting the Faith, which could stop tricks in the challenges phase, but not stuff like Tyrion. And Marek wins initiative, decides to go second. Of course, there is no power to steal now. And doesn't seem like he's under any pressure. Can defend stuff pretty easily. Yeah, and economy I think is not going to be a problem here for Alex for the rest of the game. So the only issue is, does he have the card draw to make use of it? Jaime still no military icon. Stops any jumpers, which of course Marek is unlikely to play, but could be used to stand himself as well with some Targaryen tricks potentially, like Freedman from the discard pile. And we have Plaza for stand, running out of cards. And also Cersei's Informer. Now what does she do? She can move gold, for instance, to Tyrion, and then you draw and discard, so doesn't actually gain any cards. She filters your hand a little bit. No military icons. I bet me Sunday is somewhere in that deck as well for this Plaza trigger. Although, Jaime does discard her if he's kneeling. Now, do we have more stuff to keep the pressure on? Now, of course, there are two ways to move gold around. There is the spy who can put it on Tyrion or Begging Brother, and there is the agenda free companies. Now, interesting, Tyrion wants to put stuff into play in the challenges phase. Well, it's an any phase action, but really it works in the challenges phase. But Jaime definitely does not like that. On the other hand, he is a Kingsguard now, so gets around that White Sword Tower. And we have the first one here as well, Sir Meryn Trent, who is actually an excellent card against some Targaryen tricks. Blocks the pyramid completely. But we'll see if he's used in a meaningful way this time. I think he might be. If Plaza starts discarding mercenaries, then Sir Meryn Trent will be a problem for Targaryen. And another couple of characters. So board is set. Unprotected currently, but in a good spot. Just needs some kind of card draw in case of a reset. And I think possibly Alex will keep blocking Stannis' draw in the power challenge if he gets the chance. And here is where a Antlerman can gain some gold if you have stuff you want to do, even though Supporting the Faith starts the challenges phase at no gold for either player. Hmm. Can be defended with everything at the moment to try to trigger Stannis on defense, but then you're not letting any power on Alex's faction card to steal back. No nasty keywords here. There is renown on Jaime. Gathering any renown on characters, of course, makes it less likely that the board will be reset. And definitely Marek is stronger at the moment. Now let's see if anything nasty happens with this win by 5 here. Okay, he could try to cancel Marin's interrupt now, or cancel Jaime's forced reaction, something like that, if there are tricks to come. Nothing at the moment. And this is the plan, I think. Trying to cancel Sir Meryn Trent. You want something in the discard pile that can be used later with Tyrion. Doesn't want it gone, removed from the game. Yeah, and you get interrupt for Meryn when a card is discarded. Yeah, so Plaza triggers, then you have to choose a target first, and then a card is discarded, and that's the step that Meryn interrupts. So he tries to remove Second Sons, and of course that's where the Begging Brother cancels it. So one more, potentially, if Informer gives gold back to the Begging Brother, but then you're out of cancels for Stannis and the Bastard of Nightsong, which is not that great. And Jaime, well, standing at the moment, so kneeling Jaime always seems to be problematic now in this this deck. There is some, well, you could say anti-synergy, or certainly you need to sequence stuff correctly and have a good have some experience to play this deck correctly so that you don't run into problems. So Alex is done. Now the most important thing, I think, is to push the power challenge through, and you have to count on Second Sons with 6 additional strength, which would be, let's say, 14. So I would do this with the minimum required effort, just Godry perhaps. Could either force the second sons to just defend that or kill off the informer. Okay, going for... Well, lots of strength actually for 7 now. We have a Kingsguard here, and what does this say again? You can stand each participating Kingsguard, so Sir Meryn Trent can stand, but not the power icon. Which actually seems like a misplay. Because he might not be able to push the challenge through now. But he can do the intrigue pretty safely here. And if that's defended, then the power will go through. And that could be costly. Still a card in shadows, which we don't know what it is. Yeah, making sure that he gets to discard that final card. Unless it's really strongly defended, but then there's no way to defend the power challenge or win dominance. And removing gates. Fair enough, I don't think that will be cancelled. And now I think, yeah, he will regret probably using that Hedge Knight, because that 3 strength would have allowed Bastard Knightsong and Stannis to win the power challenge. Now have I miscalculated? It looks like it's 13 here. It should be 14 on defense. Now what happens with Second Sons? No gold to bestow it. And then interrupt, and this is a delayed effect. Okay, so it would go back to the discard pile. But it still spends resources. It spends Tyrion. Yeah, but I think it was more important here to get the power claim. That would have been 5-3 or 5-2, since he's got renown as well. And then Bastard of Nightsong cancelled, or Stannis' draw cancelled potentially. But okay. Alex out of cards for the plaza now. Very small board. And power about equal. And he's out of gold on characters as well. Now only seems to have the agenda. So can't just keep reusing Tyrion and Begging Brother. Flea bottom would be nice, obviously. Okay, what do we have here? So Father returns Stannis and Tyrion. That keeps Stannis safe from any resets, which is nice. He could be easily replayed with this, I think, and didn't have any renown. But Tyrion going back seems like a good deal for Alex, because he can bestow him again and bestow him for 3 this time. He has nothing else. Now Heads on Spikes in the deck would be a real killer. Okay, loan from the Iron Bank, going for all the gold. Keep the pressure on against Bran the Builder, which should be getting a location, and if he draws flea bottom, then Alex is in business. Yeah, no usual Bara tricks here. I don't think there'll be red priest and stuff like that. But going for Robert this time. Stannis stays in hand, unless you see a King's Road. And going first with Intimidate now. If he intimidates Jaime, of course, then that makes anything coming from the discard pile a lot more difficult. And we see another Kingsguard. Surprise, Caron still has that king, of course, to stand attacking characters. Now, let's see. Yeah, just the Kingsguard, so it can double use Robert with this, for instance. And with that Iron Bank, still plenty of gold on the other side. Tyrion costs 4. And then if you want to fully bestow him and put something else on, of course, you will be spending some of that Iron Bank gold. What's happening here? Looks like he wanted to pay stuff from his gold pool. Yeah, it's you get the bestow prompt, and then the Iron Bank prompt, and easy to make mistakes. Not sure this is correct now. So he had 6 gold and 4 on the Iron Bank, and he's marshaled, yeah, Tyrion. And then if he bestows him for 2 from his gold pool, he should have 0 gold and 2 on Tyrion. And all 4 are still left on the Iron Bank. That is the state of affairs, I think. Okay, I think that's now the correct game state. Oh, not looking great. 1 card for Plaza, 1 card in Shadows with no gold, and Tyrion has triggers, but nothing in the discard pile. Now, what happened to Second Sons? Oh, was it somehow removed? Let's see. Am I being stupid? Bottom because of Tyrion, but they have a forced interrupt. Which shouldn't put them back in the discard pile. Okay, so that's slightly weird. Should have paid more attention. Not sure if that was some kind of misplay from Alex, but seems like he could have had that second chance in the discard pile. And now gets one for the begging brother. And struggling with Claim Soak. Now Claim Soak, he is going to get intimidated. And then Jaime works against him. If he is intimidated, anything that could come into play is going to be met with Jaime's forced reaction. Okay. Doing military without Robert. Wants to make sure that he gets the power challenge through this time, I guess. And what do you kill here? He's just put the gold on begging brother, but yeah, that's now gone. Sad day for Targaryen. Seemed like he drew pretty well in the opening. Has the Iron Bank, has Tyrion, had that second Sons and the Plaza, but that annoying Meryn that demanded the begging brother cancels, and then not top decking into anything smaller to just survive plain military claim here. Let's put him under pressure. Still not over though. Still don't know what resets we'll see, and there is nothing protected. We know that Stannis, of course, is in this hand with limited economy, especially now that Lone will be in the discard pile. And defending with both, since Intimidate is a thing here, but he's going to lose this gold, this power from the faction card with Bastard of Nightsong and the power claim. Actually, Antlerman able to trigger twice. Renown on Robert. And smells like unopposed intrigue as well. Though, of course, this could be a card that stands a character or lands in the discard pile for further use. However, Sir Meryn Trent. Yeah, that's the problem. Golden Company is just removed, so Tyrion can't put it into play. He does stand Jaime. And what's the state of affairs here? So not good for Baratheon, or not perfect, I should say. He can win on attack against Jaime, but then if Jaime doesn't defend, he can do intrigue back, but not the power. And still that mystery card could be something that comes in for free. Difficult. I think he's going to attack for, well, does he attack for 5? No, okay, there's no power claim, so forces either Jaime to defend, keeps his 3 cards for sure. Jaime gets his renown. Or if Jaime didn't defend, of course, then there is enough on defense to stop him. And yeah, couldn't be avoided, that one Brand the Builder trigger. Now that takes Hollow Hill, which is nice, but it's slow. We'll be seeing play probably next round, and then needs to trigger Indominance. That's slow with Robert on the board. We could just be seeing Tourney now, which if it's anything other than Morghulis, probably ends the game. And it's to Harris. Now he could be losing some power here because he can't really realistically carry Robert through the Harris. Needs to keep the little ones. But then anything that has the nitrate, so we have 5 here. That's 7, that's 9, or with Marin that would be 10. He can keep these. Three is not game winning. And he would need a king to be able to stand them and do it twice with the agenda, but Stannis in hand is too expensive. This is going to be 2 gold now with loan, and then he gets 1 for the Rose Rod, so 3 plus Great Hall. He could just keep Robert and 1 more character. Depends on his hand, of course. I don't think he can risk that if he has no characters to play out here. Yeah, keeping 3 instead of 2. Losing that 1 power from Robert. All 3 knights, 2 of them Kingsguards, but no power icons. Now let's see something more. Let's see a King's Road and maybe 2 knights. That would please me here. And of course time is an issue as well. He's already on 9 and Alex only on 3. So even if he does turn the game around, it's he needs some time to come back. Godry almost has enough to intimidate, not quite. He's a bit slow, unfortunately. I think he was over-nerfed in testing. He almost never seems to gain that intimidate, but still decent enough. And we have the cancels, but now all of this is passive. They will just, if they can push a challenge through, they will do it. And a couple of them will stand. Now begging brother, fully loaded. Could be cancelling Marin, but no more cards in hand. And I think we'll see similar pattern going now for military first with the characters that can stand. These two, Sir Bryce Caron and Sir Meryn Trent, they have renown, they can stand. Then he can do intrigue with 3. Probably win against the 2 remaining characters if this isn't something that can bring something else into play. And then we have Sir Courtney, who currently is not strong enough to win on attack, but by himself I mean, but forces defense anyway, which doesn't allow any counterattack. Bryce and Meryn, I think, is the correct way of doing it here. Okay, going for all 3. They will gain renown and 2 of them will stand. Oh, nice, nice, nice. Okay. That allows Alex to defend and stop the stand. I think 2 would have been better, then still can do the other challenges and force defenders to kneel. So it was Old Bill Bone all the time. Saves him probably this round, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not a good card. It's not going to let him come back from this. And now, yeah, Courtney will attack, forcing something else to kneel here. Needs to kneel 2 characters if he wants to successfully defend. And he does. Okay. That stops Marek at 12. And Tyrion kind of forced, I think, to do power now. So unopposed power should get Alex up to 5 or 6 with Jaime's renown, and Marek should be on 11. Dominance tied if nothing else happens, and then we'll see if the Hollow Hill is fast enough to find something useful. Yeah, key Old Bill Bone. If those characters were allowed to do a second challenge, would be game over. And let's see. Anything useful? Dario. Plenty of gold to play him. Ally companion or mercenary. Let's see if there's anything on the opposing side. No. But he can, of course, stand Tyrion. Ah yes, no stand on attack. I wonder if Marek realized that. I certainly forgot. We used to have, in the beginning, of course, it was Stannis and then it was Robert, so there was always a king. But yeah. Yeah, maybe that Robert, he only had 2 characters though, but if he kept Robert, there was some Intimidate as well, and that potential stand. Of course, he didn't know about Old Bill Bone. No, okay. Compelled saves his power, but unfortunately saves Jaime's too. Would have been better slightly earlier when there was no power to be stolen for claim. And now 6 is enough to bring Stannis in. So we have Alex going first this time. And now there's cancels for any triggers basically. $13 gold, he can play anything, so he has Dario and he has 2 mystery cards. There's not that much in the dead pile. Plaza can be kept for the stand. There is 2 cancels on begging brother for Sir Meryn Trent and 1 on the Red Keep. And seems to have a pretty good presence in the power challenge now. And even can afford a a second sun, so now it's going to be difficult for Marek to push stuff through. And flea bottom. Okay, that's this card pile is empty, and there's Tyrion anyway, so looks like that's what he got. Slightly surprised that he played it all, because yeah, Plaza could have been used to stand something, and actually spent all of his gold for this, not even leaving the red keep, so he has to cancels for characters, but there could be he uses it here, yeah, with the Iron Bank gold. Cancels Great Hall. Now that means Stannis is too expensive. That makes perfect sense, actually. 6 cards in hand, hopefully something smaller also available. Yeah, the 7 cost Stannis, the one that was released in the second cycle. I used him once by mistake when I put him in the deck instead of the 7 for 7 version, and actually wasn't even that bad. I think it was some kind of Prince deck in testing that was testing Storms, and he did decent work on that occasion. But yeah, the newest version is just better. And the core one, unfortunately, it was one of my favorite cards back in the day with that ability, but the Robert from the Baratheon box, of course, is just a better version of that, and they don't have synergy if you play them both, so that's why Stannis is kind of forgotten now, but he was a good card back in the day. Sir Gaiard, just the one icon. Now what can he do? He can gain military if he's bestowed here. Intrigue, I mean. Depends if Marek needs to go to pay for something else or not. And cancelling Godry, who of course could have gained Intimidate with that additional gold. Well, not quite, needs 5. But would get him closer, and 1 card in Shadows now. What do we have here? Well, it's Kingsguard, so Knight of Flowers, or the Lenny cards that don't seem to fit that well. Sir Robert Strong or Sir Mandon Moore. Old Bill Bone is the one that can come in for 1, of course, but also doesn't fit in this deck. Pinch, maybe. Yeah, Sin in Flames unfortunately can't be used with an empty hand. It wouldn't be in this deck, there's just this guy. I think it's the only guy we saw with the Roller trait. And yeah, Stannis has it as well. Lots of stuff is happening which works, I think, in Baratheon's favor here, because time is ticking, and if he doesn't over defend, he should be able to push stuff back. There is no Intimidate on the other side, so does not defend. Yeah, power is the one that matters now. And Stan is discarded, unfortunately. Marek played himself into problems with the gold. And red keep cancelling. The economy was a nice play for Alex earlier. Kept 1 gold, didn't bestow anything on Sir Gyrd, so makes me think that there may be something that can theoretically be used. And now going for power with 8 strength, which is just about enough, and he has the stand potentially as well, which would allow him to win on defense. And that gets him ahead. Yeah, not enough with the stuff we see here. And it's all open information, so should be able to push the power challenge back. What does he do? Probably slight worry about the win by 5. Well, if Pinch is in shadows, at least that doesn't seem like a great card to use now, because Plaza could then stand something, and something would go in the discard pile. There's cancels for Sir Meryn Trent. Jaime knelt though, so okay, defending with 6 just to be safe, which means military should be unopposed, and then he has to kill something other than Begging Brother. Getting the power back. And unfortunately for Marek, I think we'll just about have time to go into another round. Unless Alex thinks about the claim soak here and stuff like that, which I think he's lost if he does that, so he needs to just pass the windows quickly and kill that second Sons, I think. Yeah, intrigue and dominance. Okay. Well, or unopposed or dominance is the same thing. Unopposed instead of dominance, I mean. And here comes the pinch, so now what does that mean? It means that stuff has happened and time will expire, but yeah, and he is discarded, of course, so even if Tyrion is used. And Jaime still not, yeah, so he couldn't do anything to prevent the obvious from happening this round, and just enough stuff happening in the challenges phase for time to expire. I thought we would have plenty of time, but actually we're going a couple of minutes past even with all of this. And I do wonder what the last plots were. So winning initiative, there's no obvious renown or anything like that, and very little gold. I don't think there is a second tourney. But same goes for the other side. There's Jaime and Dario could now possibly be used. But don't know if that would have been enough for Alex to seriously threaten to win in the final round. Guess we'll never know, but we can speculate. What do you think? What would have happened? Going first, I guess, with the pinch trigger again would be annoying. Could pick one of the challenges and just force over defense unless Alex would risk Jaime being returned to hand. Hands tourney. What would that be? That's the one that changes military claim into power, I think. So that's very strong for Marek, but I don't think it wins initiative necessarily. Banners were Lion and Free Companies, which was used frequently on the Begging Brother. Okay, if the players play it out, we can stick around and see what would have hypothetically happened. Doesn't serve any particular purpose. And no real spoilers here for Baratheon can't use White Book again. It was decent enough, so using a huge banner package, almost nothing. Had the loyal kings, the infection kings, but focusing on the out of faction stuff, and yeah, seemed to work pretty well. They all have the nitrate for that tourney, and Baratheon does have kings that are useful, so seems like a good faction to play this competitively, but it's not such a strong agenda. Only really works in Tyrell competitively from what we've seen, but also Targaryen played it. Was it this morning? Yes, against Steven, and seemed like the deck had some potential. Lost on that occasion, but seemed interesting. Of course, with Sir Rolly Duckfield now. And he was specifically made loyal because the design team didn't want him used out of faction that much. It was kind of obvious that he would be used in other factions, but him being loyal means that Targaryen has exclusive option of playing him, of course. And I've seen a few white book decks around recently, not in big tournaments though. Now let's see what happens with this. So favors doesn't refill stuff, it can only bestow cards that are already in that come into play, and the hand's tourney loses initiative. So Alex now is forced to win basically before Marek gets his turn. And he could do so if he does power challenge and then does the successful military and applies the power claim again, he could get close. Dario has a renown as well. However, missing military icons. Second Sons is dead, so just Dario isn't going to win it. Oh. Drawing red keep, still using it though. I don't know if maybe he's realized that he can't really do stuff efficiently with that plaza with Jamie blocking him, or maybe just kind of forgot about it over the course of the game. But seems like these could have been used. This and flea bottom with no targets could have been used to stand some characters and not give the unopposed away. It was 12-10 when time expired, so that could have been closer. In fact, I think he might even have been able to win, because it was 10-9 on the power challenge, so standing an additional character that was used on attack earlier would have been able to defend power then and possibly win the game by using that plaza. And now still has that option to cancel economy. Let's see if he uses it. White cloak. Okay, red keep knelt, so that can't be cancelled. Something is skilled, you can save it, but that's not going to happen. But it does give the trait, so chance to stand stuff again with the agenda now. This is pinch, we know. So if Alex doesn't win, I don't see how he could defend any character with renown against pinch. And was the Hollow Hill used last round? No. So that might have been used as well if the time didn't run out, giving Alex an extra card. Yeah. That's why I said earlier when the Rose Rot was discarded, it seems like a pretty innocent card to lose for Intrigue Claim, but makes a difference over the course of games. Yeah, I think we went around 2 minutes past time, so if he played really quickly and basically did almost nothing on attack and then tried to turn it around in this round, maybe could have had a chance, but let's see how it goes. And just read on Discord that Marek says he now has 3 wins, of course, he's undefeated. That will put him on top of the rankings and will face some insane players like Bucherman or Argento. Well, good news for you, Marek, is that Argento is, of course, in Night's Watch that we've already played against, so you can avoid that. But we have Chrissy for Team Stark, still undefeated, the only player with 4 wins. And the only player, of course, who won every game and didn't sit out any weeks yet. So the best player in the tournament so far, and I think no one can join him on 4 wins after this round. Yeah, and winning with that Stark Reigns and Manifest God and stuff like that. I think Filthy in the last game, if I saw correctly. I didn't have a chance to watch it. Not sure if anyone recorded it. But yeah, winning with the weirder Stark decks. Definitely a nice bonus. Because Stark is statistically not that great for this format. I did a little statistical overview before the tournament started and calculated the win percentage of every agenda for each faction. So Stark obviously is decent enough if they can play Filthy and Crossing. They had something like 850 games since Hear My Words was released, but I think it was something like 500 combined, just Crossing and Filthy. But when everyone has to play all the agendas, or at least the one they had after the trades, then Stark's win percentage drops way down, I think, to last place, in fact, because they have so few games with some of the agendas. Whereas Baratheon is actually on top because it doesn't have any dominant deck. There's a bunch of those little Valyrian Steel and Dark Wings, Dark Words, and House with the Red Door and stuff like that. Decks that have a decent number of games and win percentage above 50. And here we go, so that Unopposed Power goes through, and now if Dario can do military, of course that applies power claim as well and wins him the game with renown, but he cannot push it through from what I can see here. And we have plenty of intrigue icons, not to give any unopposed away. And then I think Marek has the same plan. He can try to apply power claim. If that doesn't work, he does military, applies power claim there. And it's difficult to defend against pinch on both challenges, so that should be bringing Jaime back to hand with his renown, and Red Keep was used earlier, so no stopping that from what I can see. Well, this is taking some time. We'll see if I leave that in the final video. Maybe just cut it out and end it where the game ended. Yeah, calculating I don't think there is a way. It's impossible to push the intrigue through unopposed. Now he can do all three, hoping to gain 2 renown. Would that work? That's 14 with no stealth. It would not work. Okay, so needs to defend this one. Can even stand, of course, with the agenda. So no resources spent. And then needs to stop unopposed intrigue, so just defend with one character, which blocks Alex on 14. Then he cannot possibly stop the counter getting to 15, I don't think. Or at least finishing ahead and even triggering pinch. No way to nil the faction card, so all the characters with the Kingsguard trait would be just fine here. So everyone except for Godry. And that's what he does. Yeah, can't quite finish it, as you can see. And no way to stand characters, so now attacking with, for instance, these two power icons wins the power challenge, brings it to 12-12, and then he has unopposed military applying power claim, that would be 14. Pinch as well, potentially to be triggered. Yeah, so good game, second win for Baratheon in this match, an important one. Targaryen still undefeated, and if they beat Baratheon, who is on 2 wins from the first 3 rounds, then they get pretty close to victory. Still not quite guaranteed, because Martell only has 1 defeat, and they could win the rest of their games and still win the tournament. But yeah, this is definitely important. Certainly we would no longer be able to win if we lost to Targaryen here. So glad to have our second win. And what's the time? Okay, so next game in About Some Might game has been postponed, unfortunately, which kind of makes it impossible to stream this block of games that were supposed to be played back to back. Next one in an hour and 45 minutes. So should I go home or stay and stream it? I think I might stick around, actually, so you can join me for that one later if you have time. So thanks for watching, and see you later.